and 1240 WGBB Freeport.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent those of the staff, management, or owners of WGBB.
Why do I hate Pokemon Go? If the government took 40% of every Pokemon collected by everyone in the world, it would be fiscally conservative in 1 hour's time. The word on every Facebook post and every Twitter feed starts and ends with Pokemon. The game was released in the middle of a civil rights disaster where there have been shootings, protests, and bombings. But people seem too preoccupied to pay much attention to whether it's Brexit, Black Lives Matter, Dallas. It really makes you think what kind of society we've become. So you got to ask yourself, what's next? This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Happy to be back. Bi-weekly broadcast here on WGBB. Big shout out to super producer and engineer Brian in the back. What's up to Jeff? Thanks for making everything happen. Ways to get in contact with us. You can find us on Twitter, Real Ted Hicks, or Late Night Parent. On Facebook.com/Late Night Parents, or our website, latenightparents.com. Want to say special shout out to our media partners, Blog Talk Radio. Of course, you can get us on SoundCloud and iHeart, and of course YouTube, because all that stuff is free, right? Or at least we think it is. But we want to thank our friends, UNIR1 Radio, Life Improvement Radio, I-95 Sports Network, Arena Sports Network, the 405 Media, and NGSCSports.com that air the show, in whatever format they choose to air it, whether it's live or extended podcast. So this is where we are right now. It's Saturday, 35 minutes past the hour. Happy to be here, and happy to have a special guest on the line, soon to be partner in crime, because we're going to have a segment, weekly or bi-weekly, called Ask Dr. Michele. So we have none other than Dr. Michele Reed on the line. Dr. Michele, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Ted?
Pretty good. It's, it's a Saturday and we're here. There's so many things that have happened since the last time you and I have talked on a show. And I think, Dr. Michele, we're number one, we're going to be doing a special show on the 30th to talk about race. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a racy topic. But
yes, I was going to say most definitely, because given the climate as to what is now, I'm having patients who are coming in tired, fatigued, stressed out, anxious, high blood pressure, diabetes, being uncontrolled because they are just getting so heated up with everything that is going on, from police brutality to relationships with the police to helping to foster positive relations with the police, who are doing their job in our communities, because we still do need police protection, and given what's going on in light of the election.
Correct.
So it's something that really, truly needs to be discussed across the board, because that's all related to our health.
It really does. And like I said, happy to be able to announce, whether it's in podcast format or on WGBB, want to introduce a Dr. Michele segment where you'll give us some words of wisdom. You'll answer a few questions, whether they're stated on your website or ours. Just happy all along to have a partnership with you, and with joining our two families together to help the community. I received your web link, and it says it all. Medical doctor, mentor, fit doc, and community activist. So you do it all. It's
yes, and I am looking forward to working with you. I think we had a very great show the last time we were together.
Correct. That is correct.
And I know you missed me today, so that's why I figured let me just give a quick shout-out to you. I had a speaking engagement at Swarthmore, so I was talking to 38 young females who are in high school, but I figured let me just pop in with you for a few minutes. That way you won't feel too lonely until your dad comes.
You got it. You got it. And that's the thing. You're always on the go. We know sometimes, we'll be blessed to get you here live and in person, but for the most part, if it's on the phone or if it's a recorded, for the recorded podcast, all the above, excited for it, and happy to announce that today. On today's show, Dr. Michele, just want to let you know that we're going to talk with the CEO of TeenSafe, because we're talking about mobile apps, we're talking about bullying, we're talking about, hey, how do, as a parent of a teen, what do we do when, if we suspect, our son or daughter is being bullied, and or how do we get access to those text messages or those direct messages or Facebook messages or instant message, all of the above. I found someone that will be able to help us to access it, and if you run into a situation where your child deletes a specific message, you can pull it back up.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing this too.
Definitely. And then our next guest after that is going to be Miss Rosalyn Ross from Memphis, Tennessee. She's going to talk a little MBA. We're going to talk a little yoga. She does health and wellness, and like I said, I think I'm going to carve that segment up and send it to you directly, because you guys need to connect, because two powerful Black women who know what they're talking about, and really excited about that. But want to thank you for taking a few minutes out, joining us, and any words of wisdom for today?
Well, the first word of wisdom is to make sure that you've done something for yourself today. And that's besides waking up this morning, but make sure you spend a few times alone just to meditate and figure out what your focus is going to be for the upcoming week, and get out there and start doing some exercise.
Excellent. I will let you know, I was trimming the edges of the lawn today. I didn't cut the grass. I just edged it up.
You're always guilty of something. You're always guilty of something. But okay, you were out there, and that counts. I'll let that count today.
I just want to let you know, I was one of those neighbors at 6:40 in the morning, edging up their lawn, waking the entire block up. So yeah, I'm that person. But
all right. So I'll let that pass. We'll talk further about what you're going to do. You got it. Dr. Have
Michele.
a great show, and I look forward to hearing it.
All right. Thanks so much.
And thank you very much for the opportunity to work with you.
Excellent. Take care.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to go to a quick break, and right after that, we should have our first guest from TeenSafe. Thanks again, folks. This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents.
1240 WGBB Freeport.
Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook of your choice and a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and choose from over 180,000 audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents. That's audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes more than 180,000 audio programs from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. That's audibletrials.com/late-night-parents.
I am loving my Verizon FiOS. In fact, I recently joked that if we move, we have to find a place with FiOS coverage. To my surprise, our family actually agreed. Not only is FiOS the fastest internet service, it also has never been down, with the exception of when Storm Sandy hit us. And indeed, only FiOS gives you the same speed uploading, for your files, photos, etc., as it does downloading, as in HD movies. Cable cannot offer you this, only FiOS. So go ahead, make a very smart choice with Verizon FiOS.
Are you looking for some sick sports apparel? DHTK designed some of the newest and coolest brands such as Represent, Game Over, and Don't Hate the King. DHTK's vision is to integrate culture, fashion, and attitude that best represents the players and caters to us, the fans. Click on DHTK.com and subscribe to their mailing list for an automatic 10% off your order. If you are a basketball fan, follow DHTK on social media. Visit DHTK.com for more details. DHTK.com. You don't have to be a king to dress like one.
If you like your radio a bit on the fantastic side, try listening to the Happy Hour Network on Blog Talk Radio. The Happy Hour Network features live shows such as Late Night Parents with Ted Hicks, Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue with Todd Vandenberg, and Lee Vowell, The Seahawks Show with Kevin Daggett, and NBA Full Court Press with Danny Thompson. You can also catch podcasts like The Fwat Show, The Earnestly Speaking Podcast, Cinema Savants, and The Tennis Scene, found at blogtalkradio.com/Happy Hour Network. The Happy Hour Network, radio worth listening to.
You ever had any questions about compensation trends? Ever had any thoughts about it? Overall, am I getting paid what I'm, worth? I think that question is going on with everyone in this day and age where jobs are shrinking, certain things, certain tasks are being automated. So if you go to latenightparents.com, we put up an article this week on compensation trends with Adecco USA. Yeah, that Adecco. So how do you ensure your company offers competitive salaries to do, for job candidates and awards proper raises to current talent? You can start with checking out the infographic that we have on latenightparents.com, which uses several sources and includes, a few references from LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn just got purchased by Microsoft. So they're valid sources and references, and it basically outlines average salaries per region for some of the most popular jobs in the light industry, science, technology, engineering, and math, and creative marketing. Yeah, it's available on Late Night Parents. So, from here, we're waiting right now, patiently, for our next guest, Ralph Acosta, because we're going to talk, believe it or not, about a topic that's near and dear. Teen Safe. We're going to talk about the leading parental smartphone monitoring service today, because it recently announced the ability to read deleted messages from WhatsApp and Kik, as well as deleted messages from Twitter also. It was added to that specific platform. The latest feature expands TeenSafe's screening capabilities to provide a more comprehensive suite of message monitoring, allowing parents to receive a 360 degree of their teens' conversations online, and further helping keep children safe from cyberbullying and sexual harassment. These are the types of issues that are happening today with our teens. What are we doing about it? What do we know? As a parent, you kind of think about what are the first steps that you need to do. And you kind of wonder, you're like, okay, I'm at a loss. I'm not sure what my son or my daughter is doing on their mobile phone. And I'm going to stop my rant. We're happy to have our next guest, Mr. Ralph Acosta, Teen Safe General Manager. Ralph, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I want to thank your wonderful PR staff. We were conversing for the past couple of weeks, because I did a July 4th show, and I said, let me see if I can get someone from Teen Safe on July 4th. But you guys are busy, having your burgers and having a great time. But thanks for coming on today.
Sure, you were working that weekend, weren't you?
Yes, I was. It never stops here at WGBB. I mean, it's just like, hey, you gotta cover your shift. But hey, right. Ralph, I was just talking about the fact that, okay, I have a step up because, yes, I'm a parent, but also I've been in IT for the past 20 years. So most parents won't have that type of information or backing or certain things what to know. But the thing that kind of, pulled me to your product and your brand is the fact that, yeah, as a parent, I want to know, after I make that monthly payment on that mobile phone for my son or daughter, what type of messages are on there? And or you run into a situation where if there is cyberbullying or if there's some type of sexual harassment or all the above, that if I'm looking through, as a parent, I'm looking through their phone or I'm looking through their text messages, that if it's deleted, it's kind of, it's I'm at a loss. But it's more than just text messages, because people are, sending direct messages through Twitter, and everyone's on WhatsApp, WhatsApp or Kick. So I want to just really sit here and listen to you about your product and tell us the benefits of having it.
Sure. And thank you for placing it into context. TeenSafe was founded by a group of dads who basically were experiencing normal dad stuff with their adolescent daughters and needed to better understand what was going on with them. And so the company was founded from a very personal place, from dads who were trying to protect their daughters. And what they discovered after creating this product is that it gave them insight into things that their daughters hadn't told them about, like bullying and abusive communications. And so, from there, this product has sprouted into one that covers text messages, WhatsApp, Kick, Twitter, as you mentioned, Tinder, and most of the modern channels that teenagers and children younger than teenagers use to communicate. And so that is TeenSafe in a nutshell.
Okay, perfect. Because I was doing some research, and according to Common Sense Media, teens tend to send an average of 55 messages per day. And often the content of those messages are unknown to their parents. The first thing I'm going to say, Ralph, that number is a little low, 55. Because
you're probably right. I do 55 a day.
I know. And it's like, and it also nowadays, so my daughter is 14, and we'll have more of a conversation via text. So this summer, she's working at a summer camp. And instead of, during lunchtime calling me, she'll send me a text, and we'll be going back and forth. And she's, and that's just their way of communicating. True. So I'm with that. I've got you. But there's a couple other things that kind of came out to me about TeenSafe. The fact that, yes, reviewing deleted messages is one thing, but the fact that you're able to review call logs, incoming and outgoing.
Yeah, well, we are, and really, we're only, we expect to be able to provide supervision to every aspect of a child's phone usage. We internally we have a statement that we tell ourselves, which is that within 3 to 5 years, it will be considered reckless parenting to turn an unsupervised mobile device over to your child. And the age at which children are getting mobile devices is younger and younger. I heard the other day a stat about 6-year-olds. And the percentage of children age 6 getting mobile phones. So it's getting younger and younger. Children are getting addicted earlier and earlier. And from there, bad things can and do happen without supervision from parents.
Ralph, I also think it's important. Not only you can check their SMS or their iMessages, as I mentioned, the call logs, current smartphone location and its history. Another key feature, web searching ability, browser history, the contacts. I mean, your product does it all. And I'm really, really impressed with it. And, you know, the first question I have to say is, okay, I've learned this about your product. Number one, how do I get it? What does it cost? And a follow-up question is this digital parenting?
Sure. So, you know, World Wide Web, www.teensafe.com. That's where you can find us. And the product is very easy to sign up for. You just need an email address, a password, and credit card information. And we charge a little under $15 a month. And you can be up and running on our system within, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes, and supervising your children shortly thereafter. So all the features that you mentioned that we have are available for just a little under $15 a month at World Wide Web, www.teensafe.com. We have some features that that you haven't mentioned available on the mobile app store. Okay. In the Apple App Store. So, you know, that's sort of a new product that people can experience as well. And yes, that is digital parenting. You know, parent technology is the broader sector that we like to call ourselves as being in. And, you know, digital parenting is a very real thing. And it is a responsibility that we're all going to have very, very soon.
Ralph, so here's I guess my key question, as I'm playing the role as a non-tech parent. How do I get the app on my child's device so that I can start this process? Or, you know, do I just, after I pay my $15 a month, am I just giving you the phone number? So how does that piece work?
So if let's say you want to get up and running quickly, you're listening to this radio program and you say, you know, this sounds great, I just want this now. You go to www.teensafe.com, you enter an email address, password, and credit card information, and then you are into the TeenSafe system. From there, what you will need is the login information to your child's device. So you will need to enter their username and password into our system, at which point you will be able to see, you will have access, and you will be able to see the features that we've discussed: text messages, location information, communications channels. So that all can happen in a 15, 20-minute session in front of the computer at teensafe.com.
Okay, and I guess my next to last question is, does my child need to know that I've just signed up with teensafe.com?
The answer is no. It's between the parent and the child. And every family is different, and communication is different between every parent and child, and it is at the discretion of the parent.
Ralph, I want to thank you so much for joining us. So best ways of getting in contact with you regarding your brand, regarding TeenSafe, you know, social media, you know, your website, all the above. This is your time to plug it.
Yeah, you know what? I hope everybody listening goes to www.teensafe.com and tries our product out. And if there are questions, comments, feedback, you know, you're able to click right from the website to an email that gets sent to practically everybody in the company. So we're an open door, and we're keen to hear any feedback, comments, or questions. But the journey starts at www.teensafe.com. And I thank you for having me on the show today. I really appreciate your time and your audience's time. Thanks so much, Ralph. And also thanks, Scott, for you guys all together agreeing to do this interview and help us out here in Long Island, New York. Thanks again. Okay. All right. You take care. And that was Ralph Acosta from TeenSafe. I know a few of those questions might have raised your eyebrows. That's what I wanted to do, because some of the questions do come out. And hey, if you're monitoring, you know, number one, if you are monitoring your child's, you know, cell phone, should you be monitoring it? Number one.
Should you tell them? That's I know for me as a parent, yes, I'm going to monitor it. Yes, I'm going to let them know that I'm monitoring it also. Just so that they're on the P's and Q's. But that's me. That works for me in my household. We're going to take a quick break. And hopefully our next guest will be Rosalyn Ross joining us. And we're going to talk about, we got a lot to talk about with Rosalyn. We'll be right back.
1240 WGBB
If
Freeport.
you like your radio a bit on the fantastic side, try listening to the Happy Hour Network on Blog Talk Radio. The Happy Hour Network features live shows such as Late Night Parents with Ted Hicks, Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue with Todd Vandenberg, and Lee Vowell, The Seahawks Show with Kevin Daggett, and NBA Full Court Press with Danny Thompson. You can also catch podcasts like The Fwat Show, The Earnestly Speaking Podcast, Cinema Savants, and The Tennis Scene, found at blogtalkradio.com/Happy Hour Network. The Happy Hour Network, radio worth listening to.
Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook of your choice and a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/late night parents and choose from over 180,000 audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/late night parents. That's audibletrial.com/late night parents and get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes more than 180,000 audio programs from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. That's audibletrials.com/late night parents.
I am loving my Verizon FiOS. In fact, I recently joked that if we move, we have to find a place with FiOS coverage. To my surprise, our family actually agreed. Not only is FiOS the fastest internet service, it also has never been down, with the exception of when Storm Sandy hit us. And indeed, only FiOS gives you the same speed uploading, for your files, photos, etc., as it does downloading, as in HD movies. Cable cannot offer you this, only FiOS. So go ahead, make a very smart choice with Verizon FiOS.
Are you looking for some sick sports apparel? DHTK designed some of the newest and coolest brands such as Represent, Game Over, and Don't Hate the King. DHTK's vision is to integrate culture, fashion, and attitude that best represents the players and caters to us, the fans. Click on DHTK.com and subscribe to their mailing list for an automatic 10% off your order. If you are a basketball fan, follow DHTK on social media. Visit DHTK.com for more details. DHTK.com. You don't have to be a king to dress like one.
And we're back. This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Ways to get in contact with us. You can find us on Twitter. You can find me at The Real Ted Hicks. Or Late Night Parent. You can also find us on our website, latenightparents.com. We are back. We were just talking about TeenSafe, the product TeenSafe, mobile phones. We were talking about monitoring software. Should we or shouldn't we? What are some of your thoughts on it? I think we had a pretty good conversation. Excited about it. I know our next guest is getting ready to come into the queue. Miss Rosalyn Ross, extraordinaire. Probably one of my favorite guests on the podcast. I tell you that. Roz, how you doing?
I am well. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm doing even better now that you joined the show. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm so happy to come on. I just kept telling you, like, whenever you're ready, I'll be ready.
I know. And this is something new, so I'm still cutting my teeth here on 1240 AM WGBB. Really excited to get you on here because there's so many topics to cover. I know we're not going to be able to cover them all today, but what's going on in your world?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember, like, what has happened since we last talked. I can't remember if we talked about the role I got for $1 Million Quartet. We definitely hadn't talked about it on this new platform, so I'll mention it here.
Okay.
But I did. I finished taping a couple of weeks ago a role that I have for a show called $1 Million Quartet, which is about the origins of Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis and their time in Memphis working at Sun Studios, and that entire experience. And that's going to be a little mini-series starting this fall, the next television season on CMT. And I'm really excited about that because it's nice when something's filming in your hometown and you get called in to audition and you actually get the part. I mean, it's sort of like you're an actor, something's happening in your neck of the woods, you should be able to get a role, and I'm really thankful I was able to get that role. So that's what's going on with me. That's the latest thing on the acting side.
Okay.
And otherwise, waiting on some. I mean, there's a lot of big news going on in the sports world, but I'm waiting on something that's going to pique my interest so I can put pen to paper here pretty soon.
All right. What's happening with you in the media world, the TV? I mean, the Roz, sports. Roz doing certain, your writing, whether you're doing radio, and tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I guess I was about to fail to mention that there is a reggae artist in New York, actually. He lives in New York, and he's from Uganda, Alan Scoop. So if you guys want to look him up, I did a video with him. I did his video for his single, Sweet Love. And the video just world premiered on Friday. So if you want to look him up on YouTube and check it out, it's a great song. And his wife is actually from Memphis and is an award-winning playwright. She directed and wrote the play From the Mountaintop, which was on Broadway with Samuel L. Jackson and Angela Bassett.
Okay.
So they're a power couple in the arts world. And I had auditioned for a project of hers, and she immediately thought of me when she decided that it was time for them to get a premiere video for his single. Came to Memphis and shot it in March, and it just released yesterday. And I'm really excited about that. It's my first music video, probably a first of few, because that's not exactly what I want to do a whole lot of. But when an award-winning playwright calls you, you definitely accept the call.
You can't say no. You cannot
say no at all. No, not at all.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, that's good to hear, because it's always good to hear from you. I got to ask you this question, because you are so helpful. Now I'm working with not only you, but with Dr. Michele, who I've had on the show a few times. And I got to tell you, the word diet. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to diet. This morning, I'm trying to eat right. Help the dads that are over 40 out. What are we doing wrong?
Well, first of all, you got to get away from the word diet. It just puts way too much pressure on the shift. It's more of a transition in your eating habits. But when we use the word diet, I mean, it just places so much undue pressure on the experience, because diet is associated with a very particular goal and a very specific timeline. And when you start attaching to that, you very well may get the results. The unfortunate thing is the whole sentiment is almost temporary. And when you're trying to make a lifestyle change, because certainly if you've decided to go on a diet per se, it's because something's out of whack and you want to adjust it, whether you're looking to get your fitness level up, or whether you're looking to lose weight, looking to lose body fat. There's a thing you're trying to change. But when you use the word diet in the verb form, right, then it starts to feel like a thing you're doing that's very temporary to make that adjustment. But you want to think of it long term. So you have to be realistic about what changes you can make and how long you can stick to them. I mean, because if you give up French fries for 3 weeks and lose 5 pounds and then go right back to eating French fries, then you know what I mean? You basically rendered the entire experience null and void. So I want my guys to think about transition, lifestyle change, as opposed to diet in the verb form. I mean, certainly when you talk about diet in the noun form, where you're making a change in your diet, that's one thing. But when you start to look at dieting, it just puts you on a downhill path to destruction. But I mean, you and I we have this conversation usually when we chat, and I know you had been coming along in some of the changes you had made, right? Like you've made some good adjustments.
I've made some adjustments. I made a few steps back,
Well,
backwards.
that's the thing. It happens to us, yeah.
You know, the summertime is right here, and you're sitting there, and you're like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have, there's certain things, the alcohol and that you're putting
Yeah.
into your system, and you're like, oh my goodness. So I've been, going back and forth, but it's always good, like I said, now with Dr. Michele and hearing your words of wisdom, and hearing my wife just say, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, all right, that's something else.
Wives are definitely the best anchor for these types of changes because, usually we're the ones who are paying enough attention and, taking a moment to say, okay, now that's not what you said you were going to do. Let's pull it back a little bit and stay with the program. But,
right.
It's just one of those things where the older we get, and by older we get, you could be in your mid-20s, but as long as you're living, you're getting older. And the busier life gets, you want to eat the wrong stuff. You're on the run, and we end up eating the wrong stuff, and then we're so tired, we got to commute to work and after work, and then we don't feel like adding in the gym to that commute. It's really tough, so I like to encourage anyone who's listening who has been challenging themselves to do better in the span of fitness and health, in the areas of fitness and health, but sort of feel overwhelmed by it. It is overwhelming because it's gonna require a change. Like every now and then, I step outside of my body when my husband and I are at the gym at 7:00, and I'm like, I'm at the gym at 7 p.m. when I get home, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna want to cook us something to eat so we don't eat bad. But, it's like you're doing this thing at 7, you'll probably end up cooking at 8, and then as soon as you get done eating, wait 30 minutes and go to bed, and then you start the whole thing over again. So
Right.
It's definitely a challenge. You can't beat yourself up about how hard it is to start and how hard it is to stay with it. Just make one little step, and you're on your way.
All right.
You've done enough.
Here's my next non-sports related question for you.
Sure.
And then we're getting into sports. Okay. So, once again, a question that I asked you, and I think I asked this to you in 2014, 2015, and here it is again, 2016. Help the dads get into yoga.
Sure. You got to find, dads, first name. Men are not typically flexible. Actually, my first overarching statement is yoga is not for flexible people. It's not a thing that's like, oh, if you're flexible, you should go to yoga. Like, there's not a prerequisite level of flexibility that you need to have before you come. Okay. The second thing is when you get there, your instructor will have you doing things that will reflect the level of flexibility that you have in your body. And so men, as you're looking around the room at women who are very easily doing forward folds and your instructor is telling you to, lift your leg up high out to the side and do a big stretch, that's, men usually have tight hips, they usually have tight shoulders. They don't generally have the same level of flexibility that women have. So a lot of times my guys come into a yoga class and they get irritated and intimidated because when they hit their first forward fold, they can't touch their hands to their toes, and they feel like they shouldn't be in the class.
Right.
The thing is, you got to stick around, right? Because yoga is about flexibility and strength, and quite frankly, women don't usually show up to a yoga class with the type of strength that men do. So it's a perfect yin and yang experience to me for men and women. The thing is, women are far more patient, and they don't have the whole machismo thing going. So usually we'll stick around and wait till the arm strength builds up, and we can do all these headstands, and we can go upside down. Men, you guys just get all frustrated as soon as you can't do the first forward bend. So hang in there. Find a yoga class. If you've never done yoga, then you want to find a class that's alignment-based, meaning that the instructor moves you into postures, but is very much so focused on making sure your body is in the right position. Like when you're in a lunge, your knee needs to be stacked over your ankle to protect your knee. So if you're in an alignment class, in a beginner's alignment-based class, then your instructor will be very focused on that and will keep you safe. So once you do that, once you get into the right type of beginner class, it's just about staying patient and not doing the man spaz out on me, where the men are like, I can't believe this woman next to me can do this and I can't do it. Don't spaz out on me, guys. Hang in there.
Oh, my goodness. Now we get to the bread and the butter, the NBA. I mean,
let's do it.
Let's just do it. Let's just get it. You know, and the question I've been waiting to hear from you, because I follow you on social media, and maybe I missed it because I think you had a social media blackout or shutdown or I don't know if that had something.
I know what's happening.
Oh my goodness!
What's coming.
Well, the main question I want to know: are you happy? Or are you not? Here's the two questions: A, Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
Okay, all right.
And B, Mike Conley getting $153 million. Come on.
I knew
Mike
Conley was going to be.
Come on.
I knew Mike Conley was going to be in this thing. I thought both parts were going to be about Mike Conley, actually. So I'm relieved that I have at least a couple of seconds where I can talk about something other than Mike Conley. All right, so Kevin Durant, you know, I was one of the people who was very critical of LeBron going to South Beach.
Yes, you were.
And I was very critical. And so I can't now be hypocritical by saying I'm okay. Like, more than anything, I am bound by my resistance to being hypocritical as it relates to Kevin Durant.
Okay.
I feel like there was a great opportunity for him to stick around in OKC and to continue to be the man, you know, or man A, you know, on the other side of man B with Russell Westbrook. And I think there may have been an opportunity for them. I mean, heck, they had the Warriors up 3-1 in the Western Conference Final. I mean, they were right there going to go to the finals.
Come on.
So, you know, I wonder how much the change in coaching had to do with it. I mean, it appeared he had a pretty decent relationship with Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan seemed like he gave some of the best press conferences I've ever seen. Like, he was very much in control, seemed very poised for a first-year coach of a very big, important team in a very tough conference. But I do wonder about, you know, the change of the guard and if there was some sort of, you know, maybe some resentment, because it seemed like Kevin Durant and Scotty Brooks were, you know, pretty, and they came into OKC together, so it seemed like they had a pretty good relationship.
Correct.
You wonder how much the coaching change affected that. I don't. Where I probably am going to be a bit hypocritical is Kevin Durant is not LeBron James. So had he made this change to any other team, you know, if he had gone to any other team matched up with a couple of superstars, I would, you know, he is not the best player on the planet. So short of him being the best player on the planet, you know, it's reasonable to think that he may need two other guys. LeBron was the best player on the planet. He should have only needed little ancillary players, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The problem is to go to the team that you had up 3-1.
Come on.
And ultimately flip the tables on you, put your team out. It just feels like a huge slap in the face. And it's very telling to me about his relationship with Russell Westbrook, which they had been telling us it was okay the whole time. I got to think it was bad. But because not only did he go, he went to an arch rival. And now, I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But he's going to be a part of a team full of guys that are awesome, as opposed to the opportunity he had in OKC. You know, it remains to be seen. They're going to have to work it out. I mean, it seems like he's going to fit right in easily to the offense, but still, I mean, they're going to have to work out the logistics of what the spacing is going to look like on the court, who takes the last shot. You know, all of the same stuff that happened when LeBron went to Miami. You know, was it going to be Dwayne Wade's last shot? Was it going to be LeBron's last shot? same stuff here. Who gets to pull up from crazy three-point range more? Is it him? Is it Steph? Is it Clay? Who knows? I'm excited to see the thing, this new thing functioning out on the floor for Golden State. But it's tough on me. It's tough on me watching him leave and go to these folks who he had down 3-1.
Roz,
that's the biggest thing to me.
Roz, I got to jump in here and say it's tough for me to watch this as a fan.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very tough to watch as a fan. And I don't want to be one of these people that's talking about the golden age of, Jordan stuck around. But, it's not necessarily golden age. We had Tim Duncan retire this week, possibly, the greatest power forward, if not one of the top two. Stayed with the same team the whole time, weathered the ups and downs. And Kobe Bryant did the same thing, having retired early this year. And it's just kind of the way you want to think about these iconic guys, that they do that thing. They hang around, and they make their teams iconic and the cities iconic. It is very tough to watch as a fan. Where I have to make sure I keep my fan ego in check, though, is when I'm tempted to start getting on the other bandwagon of, he just should have stuck around, he should have stayed, he shouldn't have gone after the money. These guys get to make that type of decision. Certainly the general manager, certainly the management of the OKC Thunder, if they had decided they didn't want to be bothered with him, it's kind of like a right to refuse work environment. If you're a free agent, you get to leave. If you're a free agent, they get to tell you they don't want to be bothered with you anymore, and that's how the relationship goes. So I'm trying to keep that part of my fan ego in check. But just from the standpoint of, he could have gone out a hero in OKC and very likely won a championship. It's not like he was in Sacramento. He was in OKC, which had a really, 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 really strong, solid, time since he's been there. Maybe at least in the last 5 years. So, Mike Conley.
Here we go.
Yesterday was the first time I said out loud to anyone that's a lot of money to give him. When you start talking about that this guy is the richest contract in NBA history, that is a big fat check. This is a situation where, and Mike is not a guaranteed guy. He's not, you want to give that kind of money to LeBron, to Kevin Durant, people that are going to, make sure that your franchise is always going to be in top contention, not just hovering around, but in 100% top contention. Maybe a series away from a championship, maybe a series or two away from a championship. Those are the folks that deserve that kind of money to me. And here I am using, again, fan ego, using the word deserve.
Yes.
But it's a lot of money, Ted. I'm just saying it's a big fat check.
That is
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley.
I know, but he is a top 10. There was a time maybe 2 years ago when I would have given him top 5. He is a top 10 point guard. He is. So he's going to have to. He is expected to carry the torch. He and Mark together. Because the rest of our team is, old as a hill, so eventually they're going to be gone, and so those are going to be the two go-to guys. So from that standpoint of recognizing you have an anchor for your team, a great face for your franchise, and someone who does go out and perform night in and night out, you get that he gets a big fat check, but it's just kind of hard for me to reconcile that Mike Conley on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have not been to the NBA Finals ever, gets the biggest contract after he played in the league however long. It's not like he just, he's in his 3rd year. He's in his 8th year maybe. It's hard for me to reconcile him ever having the biggest contract ever, which of course will be null and void when LeBron re-ups next year and whoever else.
Right.
But right now, that's a big old fat check for Mike Conley.
But
I'm happy he's here. As you sort of hear me conceding. I'm happy he's here.
I'm happy he's here. Yeah, right.
I'm happy he stuck around, and hopefully we can have a really good season. And my husband mentioned this to me, which I hadn't even considered this, but he's like, you give a guy that kind of money, it changed psychologically. he is going to be different, and the criticism is going to be ridiculous.
Yes.
So as soon as he starts messing up or can't play or gets an injury, per Jamal Brown, my husband, he's like, psychologically, that probably gets in his head. And is he a LeBron guy that just embraces the hateration and goes out here and performs, or is he going to shrink? I mean, you just don't know. So this is change your mental status type money as well. And you just hope he's one of these guys that's tough enough to bear with all the criticism that's going to go along with this type of check. But that's a big old fat check.
That is. Roz, you would know Memphis, Tennessee best. I will say this to you. I thought they were small market, but after seeing that check, maybe not.
We're small market, trust me. I don't know. Somebody, maybe one of our Fred Smith, the president and CEO of FedEx, maybe he wrote a personal check.
I don't
know. But that is a lot of money, and they better figure out. And, and the other thing I thought you were going to say, Ted, when you said, we have this conversation every year, I thought you were going to say, and we're having it again, who's going to be your outside shooter for the Memphis Grizzlies?
Yes.
So,
I cannot wait for you guys to come to the Garden. I cannot wait.
Oh, my God. That's what I thought you were going to say. And so I'm like, again, now I don't know. And now we paid all this money to Mike Conley. So how in the heck are we going to get somebody? But in the Garden, we might be ripped to shreds. I am so excited about what the New York Knicks have done.
Yes.
You guys did great.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Roz, as always, it's wonderful to have you on, whether it's at WGBB or the Late Night Parent Podcast. Tell us best ways to get in contact with you. Tell us about, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard you mention Lady Sings the Blues.
Lady Sings the Sports.
Lady Sings the Sports.
Yeah, because you know what? I so much of my content, over the last year when I covered the NBA, so much of that content went to the Sports Fan Journal.
Right.
So shout out to them. And of course, shout out to my own blog, which, I generally try to tackle some of the more cultural issues on my site. So not necessarily straight up NBA, NFL coverage, but more how sports and culture mix. But yes, LadySingsTheSports.com is up and running, and it's got some great archives for people to check out. And you can follow me on Twitter at @R_Trinity. And anything that I write, no matter where it lands, it's going to end up on my Twitter page. So please come and follow me there. And I'm on Instagram at R_Trinity as well. Ted, thank you so much for having me on. I can't believe it. I got the chance to be with you in your new dig.
Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, it's the first time, but it's definitely not the last, Roz, because next time when you come on, I think you're going to show me how to use Snapchat.
I'll be ready. I'll bring you into the fold, my friend.
Oh, my goodness. Roz, thanks so much for joining us for a few minutes. Looking forward to it. Make sure you tell the hubby I said what's up.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was Rosalyn Ross who joined us. We talked health and wellness. We talked NBA, all the above. Before we close out really quick, want to really talk about minimizing identity fraud risk. So our purses and wallets contain the crucial information. If yours is stolen, it's alarming and potentially dangerous for your finances, your identity, and personal safety. You got to take the following steps to minimize identity fraud risk if your wallet goes missing. Number one, you got to limit what you carry. More cards can mean more financial losses. On an average day, you may only need your driver's license, cash, and a credit card for emergencies. Contact your financial institutions. Call your bank and your credit card companies to stop any transaction and order new cards with new account numbers. 3, file a police report. It offers a chance to recover your wallet and provide some protection against identity theft. It's also a good way to catalog your wallet contents. Get a new license. Contact the local DMV to learn how. Update your home security. With your driver's license in hand, thief has your home address. And they might have your keys too. So you got to protect yourself from further theft by changing locks and taking other appropriate measures. Take additional precautions. What if the following were in your purse or wallet too? Social Security card, auto and health insurance information, and or your smartphone. So that's it. Late Night Parents, this is Ted Hicks. Want to thank Brian once again, the number one engineer. Yeah, I know there's a lot of other engineers here, but he's our engineer. We'll be back on the 30th. We're going to talk race. Yeah, we'll be back. Thank you. God bless. Love you guys.
The views expressed in the previous program did not necessarily represent those of the staff, management, or owners of WGBB.